A relationship with the right referral partner could be a game changer for any B2B company. So what if you could reverse engineer these relationships at a moment's notice? Start a podcast, invite potential referral partners to be guests on your show, and grow your referral network faster than ever. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to B2B Growth, a daily podcast for B2B leaders. We've interviewed names you've probably heard before, like Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek, but you've probably never heard from the majority of our guests. That's because the bulk of our interviews aren't with professional speakers and authors. Most of our guests are in the trenches leading sales and marketing teams. They're implementing strategy. They're experimenting with tactics. They're building the fastest growing B2B companies in the world. My name is James Carberry. I'm the founder of Sweetfish Media, a podcast agency for B2B brands, and I'm also one of the co-hosts of this show. When we're not interviewing sales and marketing leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of our own business. We'll share the ups and downs of our journey as we attempt to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show.
Welcome back to B2B Growth. I am your host for today's episode, Nikki Ivy with Sweetfish Media. Guys, I've got with me today Ashish Agrawal, who is head of digital marketing and strategy at Zycus. Ashish, how you doing today?
Yeah, Nikki, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, of course. I'm a fan of what you guys are doing. I'm a fan of a lot of your content, and I'm excited to dig into what we're going to be talking about today, which is, in fact, digital marketing strategy and some of the things that are working for you guys, some of the things that you guys are exploring. But before we get into all of that, Ashish, I would love it if you would just give us a little bit of background on, yourself and what you and the folks at Zycus have been up to these days.
Yeah, so Nikki, my journey with Zycus is almost a year and a half old now. So I'm very proud to be associated with Zycus because Zycus kind of prides itself being on the forefront of B2B marketing. So we have been like always kind of in the exploration and testing mode for forever now. And we definitely have a lot of things going on right now with regards to our strategy and marketing. Definitely what I would want to share with you today.
Yeah, so let's do it. Let's get into it, man. One of the things when you and I were talking offline about some of the things that you guys are investing in and what's working is you let me know that you guys are heavily investing in LinkedIn. And, everybody on LinkedIn is talking about how important LinkedIn is. But yeah, you don't see a lot of people really putting their money where their mouth is or having a strategy that's consistent with that. Right. But you said you guys, some 80 to 90% of the paid budget going to LinkedIn. Tell us a little bit about why and what you're seeing from it and what that looks like for you guys.
So, Zycus basically, we are designing and creating software in the procurement space. So it's a pretty defined niche, I would say. And we've been in business for 20 plus years now. So we have a pretty, good idea of who our target segment is and who we want to go after. And on that note, LinkedIn is a perfect platform for us because it provides the super targeting options that we want. So we kind of use almost all the features which LinkedIn offers for targeting. And over a period of time, we have kind of tweaked it and kind of figured out how to get the most out of LinkedIn. And due to this super targeting options, we are able to exactly go after the people we want, and we're able to really, crush our digital marketing targets and actually get almost, I can say, close to 7x ROI now from whatever we spend on LinkedIn. And and over a period of time, we realized, there's no other channel for us which is offering this kind of ROI. So that's why.
Wow. Who doesn't want that kind of return, right? I mean, and it's true. It's true. I mean, I don't have sort of a direct ROI example, but in my own personal branding and my own sort of efforts to to get out there and make sure that I'm not just in front of people, but providing value to prospects as much as I possibly can. Yeah, I'm all in on LinkedIn too in terms of a time investment. And so you're preaching to the choir here. I drink that same Kool-Aid, Ashish. And another thing that I thought was really interesting that you said you guys are doing is using video, incorporating video in a way to get lead forms, right? And using Vidyard, who I'm familiar with, a lot of folks who listen to the show are and are fans of. But tell us what that looks like.
Yeah, so like at Zycus, well, the videos that we were using on our website previously were all hosted on YouTube, though we do still maintain an active YouTube channel, but we were also putting these videos which were hosted on YouTube on our website. So we figured out, that at the end of the video, people actually see recommendations from our competitors who host similar videos, and there's a lot of cross navigation that was happening. Also, there was no way to generate leads from all the valuable video content that we were putting out. So we then kind of got Vidyard on board as a hosting platform, and the advantages were this: like it was a private hosting, so like no recommended videos of competitors, and we could insert these lead forms wherever we wanted in the content. So we typically did it, after 50% of the video or at the end of the video if it's a short one. And we kind of started generating a pretty decent number of leads from these videos. And since video anyways is a super engaging format, so these leads are really valuable. And over the last year, we have calculated and figured out that Vidyard has given us almost a 4 to 5x ROI on our platform investment that we have done on Vidyard. So yeah, it's really valuable, and we continue. We are going to continue using Vidyard and keep on experimenting and see how else it can help us to crush our digital marketing goals for this year.
Yeah, man. You guys y'all putting up some numbers. This is good stuff. And I hadn't thought about that. I know what you're talking about, right? Where you've got a YouTube channel, you're producing the content native to YouTube, and then just putting it in other places and using it for other places or linking to it. But you're right, that exposes you to this chance that in the suggestions, there will be your competitors, or if it's not your competitors, just some whole other rabbit hole that folks go down on YouTube anyway, if they're anything like me, that sort of takes them out of the mindsets you want them to be in when they're engaging with your content. So it's so smart to use something like Vidyard to prevent that whole thing. And then I imagine it also gives you, I think, like you mentioned, a little bit more insight into, who's watching, since you can capture actual leads from that. That is so smart. So another thing that's part of this strategy that you guys are benefiting from is exploring new things. And you guys are exploring CMS platforms right now. And so you've had to, I know you told me everybody's favorite part of the job, right? Sitting through demos, listening to salespeople talk. You've been doing a lot of that this week. Tell us about what that process is like, why it's so important to have a good CMS platform, and what you guys have been looking for to get out of something like this.
Yeah, sure. So, Nikki, we have been going through a lot of platforms, and we have narrowed down on a couple of them. And why we are going after this is we want to grow in regions like Europe and and APAC countries where the regional languages are actually much used much more than English. So we need to have a very quick turnaround for content that is being delivered in these regional languages. So currently, our system which we have in place, there's a lot of manual back and forth which is required. So one of the reasons for getting this CMS on board would be so that there will be automated workflows built in, which will allow for any content that we put on our website or on our blog to be automatically translated. And there's a separate UI available for the translators or an agency who's going to do the translation. They can quickly edit it and save it, and then that directly gets uploaded onto the regional site. So like our turnaround for getting this regional content out will be reduced, and that can be like what we believe can be like a key game changer in penetrating these markets. So yeah, that's the whole idea, and we are like working towards that, and hopefully it should work out well.
Yeah. No, for sure. Your head's in the right place. Listen, as Weaves Media, we work with folks a lot on the question of how to consistently produce content, right? And so when you're talking about a platform that, facilitates that and makes that, simpler and more efficient, yes, I get exactly why that's so important. Especially when you're trying to produce content. It sounds like you mentioned blogs and podcasts. When you're trying to produce content for multiple channels. So I get why you guys were doing that. And you mentioned one of the other things that you guys are exploring, or that you guys have started to dip your toe in the water of. My favorite, not that I'm biased or anything, is your podcast. So tell us why you guys chose that channel to include in your digital marketing strategy, and what you're hoping to get from it.
So yeah, the podcast. There's definitely been a rise recently in popularity in podcasts, and like I said, like we operate in the procurement domain, so that's a niche where there are not too many players, I would say, as of now in the
Sure.
podcast format. So that's an opportunity for us to come in, and like recently there was an update on the Google search engine where people searching for let's say a keyword procurement podcast, so they will directly see the podcast getting exposed on the search engine itself. So like even Google, search engines like Google, etc., are now actively supporting this. So we came up with this new format, and we feel that because it's easier to, when you're commuting, etc., it's easier to listen to a podcast rather than maybe read text when you're on the go. So we're hoping that this can actually, if done consistently over a period of time, get us a lot of branding in the procurement
Mm-hmm.
domain, and also might serve as a very good top of the funnel conversation starter for
For sure.
Zycus. Yeah.
For sure. I
So,
love where your head's at with this. That's my sales pitch you just said. That's what I talk to people about every day. But it's difficult. It's difficult. I know the consistency is the word that keeps coming up when we talk about this. And so figuring out a way to do that consistently definitely is going to have to be part of the strategy, but just the spirit in which you guys are stepping into this. First of all, it's real bold, because a lot of people just stop. They think about it and they're like, nah, it's not going to work. We don't have the resources for it, and they just let it go. But the fact that you guys are still pursuing it, I think, is a testament to how serious you are about having like the best digital marketing strategy possible. So thank you so much for laying that out for us. I think that you've given us a lot of things to think about, a lot of things that folks listening can consider trying in their own digital marketing strategies. So now, Ashish, that I have successfully picked your brain and seen what I could get out of it, it is time for you to tell us what you are putting in it. So tell us about a learning resource that you've been engaging with that is, informing your approach, or this just got you excited these days.
So I think like recently I've started two things which are really I've noticed that it's really helping me. So one is like I like since the last 2 months I started going to a gym in the morning. I get up early and I go to a gym, and I think it really helps. People I always underestimated what going to a gym would do for me, but like from a confidence perspective, and my energy levels are at least 2x what they were earlier, so I'm able to get a lot more done without getting tired. So definitely there's a very high kind of positive impact on the way I go about my day. And another thing which is a little interesting for me is like I made it a point to download at least one new piece of music every day on iTunes, at least one track which I've not heard before. So that kind of also gives me something new to listen to, etc. So it keeps your creativity going basically. And I'm recently using YouTube Music for music discovery, and I found it's really good. So yeah, these are some things which I'm doing recently.
These are some of my favorite answers, I have to tell you. Like, I'm guilty of living in the 90s when it comes to the music I listen to. So I would have to push myself to like find new music to listen to. And I love the idea of having it just be one new song, like baby steps, getting into it. And so, yeah, that's one of my favorite. I've never gotten that answer before. I love it. Ashish, I know that everybody listening, just like me, has become a fast fan of yours, and they're going to want to know how to keep up with you. So tell us how people can connect with you.
Yeah, people can reach out to me on my LinkedIn handle. So it's linkedin.com/in/AshishA312. Or I also have a Twitter channel. It's called @DIGIYOGI312. So it's @DigiYogi312. And if you want to reach out to me on email, then you can drop me a mail on ASHISHA312@gmail.com.
Perfect. I love it. You know what? We're going to have you on again in the future to talk about how some of the things that you guys are just now exploring have panned out and what you've gotten from those. Like I said, you gave us a lot today. I'm so glad that you laid those things out for us and that we had you on the show. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. You have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks, Nikki. It was great speaking to you.
We totally get it. We publish a ton of content on this podcast, and it can be a lot to keep up with. That's why we've started the B2B Growth Big Three, a no-fluff email that boils down our 3 biggest takeaways from an entire week of episodes. Sign up today at sweetfishmedia.com/big3. That's sweetfishmedia.com/big3.